Journaling has really helped my process of evolution and growth over the years. I started journaling as a child and have kept that habit up all through my adult years thus far. And one thing that I did when I was 22 was I did a voice journaling note to myself. I did it on YouTube, and it's private. It's me at 22 talking about, I was actually on a spiritual hiatus. I locked myself in my house for a week to figure out my life, which is hard to do when you're 22. And it's really interesting now to go back and look at that and to see what my struggles were and what my concerns were and what my thoughts were, and to notice how different they are now. All this to say, what I do currently, I would say at least weekly, is voice journaling. I use the iPhone and I press record and I just talk about whatever is going on in my life, professionally, personally, emotionally, spiritually. And I've found, closing my eyes because it's really bright out, and it wasn't bright when I set this up to record the video. It's also raining now, which is really pleasant. So weekly, I start the voice note, and I just talk. And then I listen to what I said, and then I have insights. And I've done this when I've had issues with people or things or situations, and what it does is it helps me process what's going on in my life, and I don't actually have to tell someone about it, which then makes me more available to really show up and listen when I am with other people. So I think that the emotional, I guess the hack of voice journaling is so you get out of your own way so you can really connect with other people. When you can talk about your story and you don't have to think about, oh, maybe I don't want to share this part of the story with this person, or whatever. You don't have any of that because it's just you and your voice speaking to yourself. It allows you to be more authentic, and just like you would in a written journal. And what I've found is that I don't have to share my story as much with people. Like my story being like the part that people end up kind of zoning out for. When you are complaining or talking a lot about someone who did something or whatever, that's your story about whatever the situation is. And when you can kind of process and digest a lot of that on your own, it makes you more available to listen and connect in the moment. So I hope this is helpful. It's just to encourage you to try doing a voice journaling session with yourself and listen to it back, or you could try a video session and again also listen to that back. And I just shared this with the other health coaches in my community because it's helped me so much with when I was going through my certification process, that one of the members responded to me and was just like, oh, I never thought of that. So it's like, in case you never thought of it, that's why I decided to go ahead and do this video. It's really helpful and really powerful for just digesting emotions. And digesting emotions is a real thing, because if you don't digest your emotions, they turn into ama, according to Ayurveda, which is undigested emotions, undigested food. It's like white, gray, toxic stuff that gets stuck in the body, and it blocks your energy channels, and it blocks regular channels for processes in the body. And so what that does is eventually creating disease. And a lot of diseases root cause, if you go back to the root of where the problem started, there was probably something emotional that happened that then wasn't processed and got carried, and now is manifesting as a skin issue, or is manifesting as autoimmune disorder or whatever. So it's really, really important to digest our emotions. So voice journaling helps that, and so does Another piece of digesting emotions that I would really like to share with you is when something isn't on the surface, it isn't currently happening, you know, when we get stuck in our minds, we can work out or do some yoga, meditate, and get out of our heads and back into our bodies and our breath, and that calms the mind. So that's good for basic things, everyday life stuff. Well, if someone dies, so you have a lot of grief, or if you were abused as a child, or if your partner's hanging out with someone and it makes you jealous, or whatever, you have a strong emotion, grief, fear, anger, jealousy, what you can do is sit with the emotion. And this is a great way to digest the emotion so that it doesn't cause disease in your body, so it doesn't wreak havoc on your soul and your spirit. Is to breathe, to close your eyes. I'm really angry right now. I'm really angry right now at X, Y, and Z. I feel the anger in my hands and my throat, right? And you want to feel in your body, where do you feel the emotion? I'm saying it out loud because this is a video, but in my mind, normally I'm just bringing in the feeling of the anger or whatever it is. I don't think I've done it with anger, but I have done it with sadness, and I have done it with jealousy, and I've done it with grief, where you just sit and allow yourself to feel. And that way you don't create ama, you don't create white toxic gunk that's going to create disease in your body. And it's hard. It's hard to just sit with the emotion. So these are all tactics to process your emotions, to digest your emotions, and to be more emotionally free, to be more mentally free. So the mind is a great tool, but it's not a fun place to live in, right? And the mind mental layer or sheath, as Ayurveda says, is in the middle. It's in the middle. So you want to connect to your body and your breath to relax your mind, tap you into your wisdom or intuition, which is the next layer, and then bliss. So in Ayurveda, you have those 5 layers. And in Ayurveda, you're creating disease when you don't digest your emotions.